Welcome to PR Like a Boss, the podcast where we go behind the glossy headlines and get real about what it actually takes to build buzz, win media, and make your brand unmissable. I'm your host, Pats, and today, this is going to be good because we're talking about something that everybody does, but nobody really talks about. Yep, we're diving into the world of gut health, bathroom taboos, and brilliant branding with someone who's made helping you poo her business. Joining me is Holly Victoria Brooke, co-founder of the unapologetically bold wellness brand We Are Regular, a company on a mission to make women's lives easier, one everyday problem at a time. Now, Holly isn't just a brand founder. She's a serious powerhouse in the beauty and business world. She's spent over a decade working alongside some of the biggest names in the beauty and influencer space. From Caroline Hirons and Gleam to running Roxy Jacenko's Ministry of Talent agency in Australia. Basically, she knows what it takes to build brands that actually break through the noise. Today we're talking about how to turn something taboo into a PR triumph, how to nurture a community that cares, and why the future of wellness branding is anything but polite. So grab your cuppa or a couple of prunes, whatever helps you feel regular, and let's dive in. Holly, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I never thought I'd be so thrilled to talk about poo so much, but I mean, honestly, it's become my life, and I'm so here for it.
Okay, Holly, I have to start right at the beginning. We Are Regular. It's bold, it's cheeky, and it's something no one else is really doing. What was the aha moment when you thought, you know what, I'm going to launch a brand that helps women feel better from the inside out, and I'm not going to whisper about it?
I think it definitely, in terms of how I am as a person, I'm definitely not someone to whisper often. So it was kind of natural that it came out the way that it did. But it was very much a aha moment in the sense of how the brand began. But the journey for me was like 15, 16, 17 years of battling chronic constipation. And like when I say constipation, I mean, I was like a once a week girl. It was usually on a Friday afternoon. And it was just something that I had really battled with my whole entire life. I'd been in and out of doctors, specialists. I'd spent so much money trying to get to the root cause of why I was constipated. And then the aha moment was very much Jolie and I, my business partner, and one of my oldest friends, I've known her almost 20 years. And we were at lunch together, and I had like whipped out this pill box that I had with like 30 different pills in it. And I was taking all of this concoction, and she sort of looked at me and was like, oh my God, like, why are you taking so many pills? Well, obviously she knew I'd gone through constipation, and I said, look, I found a solution that has made me regular, and I'm going every single day. And she was like, oh my God, but that must be costing you a fortune. And I was spending sort of like hundreds of pounds every month on these supplements. And she's just sort of said, we need to make this a brand. We need to call it Regular, and we need to make it more affordable for people. So that was literally, and that was 2 years ago. And ever since, we've just been working away at it to now, obviously, the brand is out there, and it's live, and it's loud, and it's proud. And I definitely think my experience with constipation, just having gone through, I've never been someone shy talking about it, because you couldn't be, because you know, the amount of times you'd go to specialists and doctors and you'd speak to people and you'd sort of explain the situation, a lot of the time they'd not really get it, or it wouldn't get the response. So you have to be kind of pretty bolshy even going there and having those conversations. So over time you just become quite confident talking about it, and I guess that's really lent to like the tone of voice that's come through in the brand.
Gosh, and so was it like more sort of trial and error in terms of supplementation and adding and taking stuff away? Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was a lot of trial and error for years and years and years. And it was a concoction of like, I'm very much into the natural side of things. I try not to even take painkillers if I can help it. So I'm very much about like, there's enough in this world to be able to help. And I'm very much about that, being able to support. And your gut is such a complex system that, you know, I've done so many different diets, FODMAP, exclusion diets, you name it, I've tried it. And so it was very much kind of, I really wanted to like go back to roots and just try things. And obviously, you know, there's certain things that are really known to help with constipation. So I was taking quite a lot of magnesium. Vitamin C was one of them in there. I mean, essentially the formula of which we've launched with is ultimately very close to what I was taking. And it was just kind of, you know, and doing a lot of research, like There is so much research and education out there, but unfortunately, you do have to kind of go out and find it, which I'm a bit of a stickler for, because I think that there is certain pieces of information and insight and clinical studies and everything that are kind of not necessarily shouted about. And so I'm a big, yeah, I love research. I love data. I love finding, and there's a lot of things, a lot of botanicals, hence why there's a lot of botanicals in the formula. So like ginger and peppermint, they're packed with so many antioxidants and so much health benefit that, yeah, over time it was very much, okay, well, this worked. And then if I increase this, then what does that do?
Mm.
And so, yeah, regular was born very much from that.
Wow. Well, let's talk about breaking taboos. Like in PR terms, how do you flip something traditionally unsexy, like gut health and poo, into a confident and empowering narrative?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no argument that poo is not the most sexiest. And I must be honest, when you tell people that you're launching a poo brand, especially from a background in beauty, people be like, what? But I kind of like the shock factor of it. And I think the power of making something like that sexy is just, I say just, it's about the delivery. Like at the end of the day, I think throughout this whole process, of course there is an outcome, and the benefit and the intention of this product is to help you poo. But I feel like Jolie and I have never really focused on the actual the poo aspect itself. That's kind of just come because obviously that's a tangible benefit of taking the product, but we've just really, really focused on how it makes us feel. And we are the people that, they say create a product for a problem that you have, and we have very much done that. It's not like we went away and almost tried to think of a product that the product kind of came naturally. It's about the delivery of how we've kind of created the brand. We really tried to marry up both of our beauty backgrounds and bring that to the supplement space, because we felt like it was quite lacking. There was a lot of clinical brands. There was a lot of that really lean into the data, which is all well and justified. But I think we almost sometimes lose sight. At the end of the day, we say, like, it's just poo. Like, we need to have fun with it. And it is a food supplement at the end of the day. And, it's packed with loads of benefits. So we just kind of were like, let's lean into the feeling, because I think the feeling is what obviously you really cannot put a price on. And I think we've seen that in the testimonials. I mean, all it takes is to go on our website and read a couple of the reviews, and you're just like, wow, like poo really evokes something in people, and it's different for everyone. And I think that's what's been a huge, powerful aspect of the brand, because it touches people. Not everyone is constipated, but it does really, the people that it does impact, like it really touches you in like a really visceral way. So I think that the way that people communicate and then like express their emotion towards a product, I've never seen a product evoke that much emotion. Because it really is a personal experience. And I think to be able to then get the results that you do from the product, it's amazing. So I think we lean into that, because that is where the power is. At the end of the day, like the poo aspect's one thing, but like it's the power behind the poo, I guess. I don't know. Like,
yeah, definitely. I think you're definitely onto a winner, because it evokes such a strong emotion.
Yeah.
And we are emotional beings.
Yeah.
And things like that resonate with us so much.
Yeah.
And it can make a life-changing aspect to your overall health, right?
Massively, especially for people. And I say women, and obviously we do get a lot of questions since the brand has launched, is like, can men take the product? Of course men can take the product. It's just that women are twice as likely to experience constipation than men, for many factors, hormonal. There's a ton of reasons as to why women are more susceptible. And so for us now, we've really learned that like this product is genuinely for anybody who battles constipation. And it does, even just you talk about poo and there's always a funny story. Like what I've noticed is you go into rooms, and it's been really interesting seeing how people react when you tell them, what your brand is. Some people retreat, and you can tell people don't necessarily feel super comfortable talking about it. And then there's ones who do. And there's always just, everybody has a funny poo story. And like what I really enjoy is the laughter that it brings as well, like the humorous side of it, because like I said, at the end of the day, it's poo. Like, I always say every single one of us does it. Some people just want to do it more. And it's really nothing to be shamed about. We always say it, like, you'd stand up and you'd have absolutely no qualms about going, I'm just going to go for a wee.
Yeah.
Never go, "Oh, excuse me," getting up from the dinner table, "Excuse me, guys, I've just got to go for a poo."
That's very true.
Like, I wanna I'm really on a mission. I really wanna change that, because that is like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I just think it brings the product itself, and the sense of what we're talking about really brings you back to, like, a point where it affects us all, and,
Mm.
it's not something to be shamed about, because, every single one of us does it. It's
Yeah,
bodily function.
absolutely.
Like
Well,
breathing. Like,
well,
I would
let's get into the PR playbook. Yeah.
yeah.
With your experience alongside powerhouse women like Caroline Hirons, what's the number one PR lesson you've carried into your own business?
Wow. I mean, what better woman to learn from than Caroline? I mean, she is an incredible force of nature, and I was so privileged to work alongside her for 5 years. It felt, building, Skim Rocks and everything else, what felt like 5 years in a startup culture. I was the third employee. By the time I left, there was about 50 of them. Like,
Oh, wow.
it's exponentially grown, and
Mm.
it has been such a huge, huge learning for me. One of my biggest takeaways from that whole experience was just like, never, ever let anybody tell you no. And if they do tell
Mm.
you no, don't let that be the reason as to why you wouldn't continue to pursue something. There is absolutely nothing that stands in Caroline's way. And I really, really admire that. And it really brought out a lot of positive in me based on her perception of that kind of approach to things.
Mm.
It was, okay, well, they might say no, but then you just keep going, and you just maybe not asking the right person. Like Chris Jenner always says, like, you just keep asking until you find the right person. And I think with a brand like this, I think that is going to be very prevalent in our brand's growth. I think it's really important not to there's definitely been some people that have kind of gone, all right, is that, that seems a bit, and then I guess it takes them seeing it to understand the essence behind it, and the way that we've kind of brought in such a editorial beauty edge, I guess, to the product itself. So yeah, I mean, don't take no, like, just keep going when it comes to, to be fair, I feel like we're in quite a fortunate position, because you can be provocative. We're not selling household cleaner, which, again, I mean, to be fair, you can probably be quite provocative with that, because it's unusual. It's not the most thing that you would expect, but it's not a sexy product, so you
Mm.
can be provocative with it, and it automatically garners interest. PR is definitely, Joe's phenomenal in terms of carving out the PR plan for this, and it's been really interesting to me to understand how publicists had kind of looked at this brand, and they definitely see this as a fantastic product to market, because there is so much conversation to be had around not just the product itself, but just the conversation as a whole, which I think I only also really underestimated how much of a conversation there needs to be had, even just through the development of the brand. Like, I've really underestimated, like, how much work there is to do. We've spoken to Bowel Cancer UK. We've had really positive conversations with those. There's so much that we can be doing there around awareness, because
Mm.
we went up and down the country, and we interviewed people on the street and sort of said to them, do you check your poo like you check your breasts? And obviously a lot of people were kind of like, wouldn't necessarily know what's up. So I think there is a lot of conversations to be had, which from a PR perspective is amazing, because it puts us in a fortunate position, but it's hard hitting stuff. It goes a lot deeper
Mm.
than maybe what we had originally realized, which is very much exciting, but like, pressure, and I'm willing to take it on, and I am taking it on, but it's just like, there's so much that we can
There are
do.
so many different avenues that you
Yeah.
can take.
Yeah. We've really realized as well, we get a lot of questions around, which is so hard. I'm not a parent myself, but like, heartbreaking around, kids as young as 4 or 5 are
Yeah.
constipated. So we get asked a lot if our product is suitable, and it's
Mm.
definitely, it's not, but it's something that we will want to explore in the future, because that in itself, to me, is, so sad that kids as young as 4 or 5 are battling with that. So there's a lot of work to be done, but
Yeah.
it's in a really challenging, exciting space.
Oh, for sure. I want to delve into the founder led advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah.
So, in your experience, what unique opportunities and challenges do founder led brands have when it comes to PR and building a community?
I think it's a really fine balance. Obviously, having been working alongside Caroline, I experienced it on that side, because obviously she launched the brand with a really huge audience waiting in anticipation for what it was that she was going to do. And I think it founder-led brands are challenging because I think it almost on launch is an easy route to take. You're allowing yourself to introduce a person into the mix, which then obviously naturally is easier to attach to. So consumers look at that, they find a person that they can obviously, relate to, versus just kind of like launching with a product and no personal attachment to it. The emotional story that obviously comes from like my experience is very important. So there was no way that we could do this without leaning in that. But equally, I think long term and the vision that we have for the brand, I very much understand that we're very much about community. So for us, like, yes, okay, we'll tell the story to begin with, but as the brand evolves and we introduce new products and, whilst that isn't necessarily for a while, we are very much about the community. And at the end of the day, not everyone is going to relate to me or to Joe, right? And so I think the risk of leaning into a brand as a founder and putting yourself at the forefront and being that leader in respect to what that brand stands for can be dangerous, because one, it's far easier to pull up one singular person or two people down than it is to kind of, lean into just the brand side of things. Knowing how much this problem affects people, we want to be able to appeal to as many people as possible. And I genuinely don't believe that anyone can tell the story better than our community, our customers. So we really, really want to create, and has always been a big thing for us, is creating and amplifying this space for them to talk. Because also it's quite difficult for I say difficult. At the beginning, we've understood that we're going to have to be the ones kind of waving the flag, because ultimately not everyone is going to feel comfortable talking about this product and the effects of it. And obviously only once you try do you then sort of get this reaction, you understand the benefits of it. But not everyone is comfortable talking about it, and we can't take that for granted. So you have to kind of give people the encouragement, and I think through our confidence, that encouragement will come and then hopefully lead to other people being comfortable talking about it. But I think that is always going to be a risk with a founder-led brands. From a longevity perspective, I argue, are dangerous is too much of a strong word, but it just puts you as from a brand's evolution, it's more challenging, because you then are going to come into, what if down the line 5-10 years you do not want to be the face of your brand anymore. It's very difficult to remove yourself, because you've become woven into the fabric of everything it is that your brand is. And that's, to me, I mean, to build a successful brand, in my opinion, it should exist without you. Like, that's ultimately the goal. And we're the ideas, we came up with the concept, we launched the brand, etc. But by no means am I disillusioned by the fact that for the future success of the brand is going to come down to everybody that helps us build it. So it very much is. I wouldn't feel comfortable. I hope if we're sitting here again in 5 years that it's very much, the brand has come into its own on its own accord. Because having us at the face of it forever just is too risky, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, seeing it now, I understand that, you are the face of, but it also has its own very strong personality already.
Yeah.
That it cuts through straight away. I know the brand is very new. However, it's gaining traction very quickly. I mean, you've had an amazing piece in the Daily Mail, the Times. On my Instagram, it's pinging up all the time, which is
So
incredible. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you share one PR or media moment that has really shifted the dial for Regular so far, and why it worked?
Yeah, so it's a really good question, because for me, my background's commercial. I'm inherently a saleswoman. So for me, the impact that the Daily Mail had was insane from a commercial standpoint. And I think, again, though, there was if you haven't read either piece, there were two very different articles. One was very much leaning into my personal story, my journey with constipation, whereas the Times was more about the brand, about us two as founders, and was more generally about just constipation as a whole. And so I think it wasn't as maybe necessarily as personal as the Daily Mail piece was. It's also very different readers, it's a very different audience. And so for whatever reason, and I think that's their factors, the Daily Mail piece really clicked with people. And it was behind the paywall as well. Both articles, obviously, with Times obviously was, but with the Daily Mail, it was behind the paywall, because I guess it's a personal health is such an obsession for people at the moment, and I think has always been, but it's just growing in popularity. And so I think that they were kind of all the variables that contributed towards that success. However, the Times piece was very different in terms of the visibility it gave and um the acknowledgement. I would say a lot more people contacted us about the Times piece, you know, sort of saying, wow, this is incredible. Like I said, PR is not my area of expertise, so I'm just leaning on whatever Joey tells me. Is I'm like, okay, that sounds amazing, and obviously it's all amazing to me. I'm like, oh wow, like we're in the paper. But I think, yeah, for me, the Daily Mail piece was really, really interesting in terms of what that did commercially. I mean, that like completely blew us away in terms of
Yeah.
the success of it.
Yeah, it just goes to show what pieces can really move the needle, because PR on the whole is very much that brand awareness, that brand building process. So
Yeah,
when you have those pieces that actually convert and
yeah.
really make a difference to a business,
Mm.
it's incredible.
Yeah, you really can't. I mean, you cannot. I mean, I could put a price on it, but you can't put a
No.
price on it because it's you just you also don't know the long-term impacts of those pieces as well, because yes, fine, you're in one paper one day and yeah, great, it's online and everything, but it's the it's how it resonates. And then, you know, as we all know, you've got to see something 7 times before it really starts to like take a hold. So I think it will be interesting to see how that then transpires across, you know, the journey of the brand the rest of this year. I mean, honestly, like when like you say, it's so new, we launched a few weeks ago, like I keep having to kind of like take a minute to pinch myself because I'm just like, how is this? Yeah. But it's just amazing to see, you know, all the hard work that's gone into building this, and the more conversations we can be having, and also in places that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Maybe an article like that would have been more anticipated in somewhere like the Daily Mail versus potentially the Times. It's interesting to see there's just certain audiences, I guess, that are maybe like ready for it versus others. I'm super data driven, so it was interesting. I was spending time in the analytics looking at kind of traffic impacts and like where are people coming from. And I think the beauty with a product such as ours is obviously it isn't something you necessarily buy once every 6 months. Like once it works,
Yeah.
you're coming back. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, you're in it. You're in it for the
yeah,
long haul. Yeah.
yeah. um so yeah, a lot of learnings.
Well, coming from the beauty industry, what lessons translate seamlessly into the wellness space and what doesn't?
What a good question. Well, I think it's like we were saying, I think it's interesting how we've tried to make supplements sexy, I guess, like unintentionally. We kind of have like that just as much as you would, and we're definitely seeing that with how people shop for beauty and wellness. Like there's a real merging that I think once really did not exist, and I think people are realizing it. You know, if you're at the Chanel counter buying a mascara, chances are you're also interested in your inner wellness as well, and how you also kind of look and shop for that. So why aren't they sort of existing within the same spaces? Which I think is we're going to definitely start to see a bit of a shift towards that, as to how, you know, people shop. And even, you know, retailers like Space and K are really starting to look at how they can introduce wellness and supplement brands a little more than they maybe were, because it is very much a holistic. If you're concerned about what serum you're putting on your face, you're probably going to be caring about, you know, the things that are going on inside as well. So yeah, I think in terms of what does and doesn't work, obviously you have a whole myriad of different health like claims that you kind of have to, although saying that, you know, from skincare there are certain things obviously you can and you can't claim, but I think there is a little bit more fluidity with, and I think that's good and bad, because I think there are brands that take advantage in the beauty space of the ability to be able to claim things, will, you know, do things that they can't, which obviously in our space you can't do that. It's more tightly regulated for sure, so we have to obviously consider that. And again, that's why we really lean into the feeling, which I guess with beauty you can do, but I guess maybe with our space and wellness space it's a little bit more tangible, let's say. So yeah, I'd say they're probably the key maybe differences.
Yeah. Well, what trends do you see shaping PR for health, beauty, wellness brands over the next 2 to 3 years?
I definitely think obviously the whole thing around how we shop. I think we will actually start to see beauty brands actually launch extensions that include wellness, and I think that will increase. I think more brands will start to not just focus on the skincare side of things, I think they might start exploring other areas such as supplements and things that can improve inner wellness, because like I said, they do go hand in hand. And I think that also, to call a spade commercially, they do make more sense, like in terms of the, you know, the repeatability of it and the returning customer rates and everything else. You are likely to have higher rates for that from a wellness perspective, because I think we're all quite potentially more loyal in the wellness space than we are maybe with beauty, because beauty, obviously, there is so much, it's saturated. I worked in beauty and I still find it overwhelming in terms of knowing what to buy. Whereas with wellness, I think when you find something that works,
Yeah.
you kind of do stick with it for longer. And I would say there's probably a little bit less noise than in beauty. So I do think that beauty brands will start to explore introducing ranges that cover that more wellness side of things, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. And you're right in terms of that loyalty piece.
Mm.
I'm I'm terrible when it comes to sort of skincare bits. I'll swap and change and like mix it up. Same with, you know, makeup and but when it does come down to that supplementation
Mm.
piece, I mean, I've been on many different supplements, but for a very long time. There's that emotional connection, but also that piece where you're like, it actually does work for me
Yeah.
and I like the way it makes me feel, and you're more prone to just carrying that on. So yeah, that subscription piece as well. Like I've got stuff on subscription every month. It will be on my
Yeah.
doorstep.
On your
That's
doorstep.
just easy.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the thing, right? And I think you are just generally, I mean, the amount, especially being someone who's tried so many different
Mm.
things, um, and everybody is different, right?
Yeah.
So you do kind of have to acknowledge that it is not everything is going to work for everyone, but at the same time, like there is, I think that's what makes it even stronger of a feeling once you do find that it works. You're like, oh my God, like this is a game changer, especially for a problem like constipation. You know, it's tough out there. Like there's a lot of
Mm.
women struggling and being told that that's their normal. That was kind of what I was told. Like, this is your normal once a week. That's not incorrect, because you know the NHS say it 3 times a day up to 3 times a week is kind of considered normal, but you know you get told that enough and you do start to tend to listen to it, and that goes across many different sectors, not just obviously what we're trying to solve. It goes across a lot of things, and I think that was a big factor for us in launching this brand. Is I just really wanted women, anyone out there, to know, you know, your body, like you
Yeah.
know when something isn't right. So don't let yourself be told, even if repeatedly, that this is your normal, because if you know that if you're feeling something is off, chances are it isn't, and there are solutions out there. It just took us 17 years to figure it out, but here we are.
But here we are, and like, you know, you're doing an incredible job, like honestly, and I can't actually wait to see where you are even in 12 months. Like
Same,
this is
to be
this is
honest.
big. I really, I feel it and I see it, and it's great. It's a great conversation starter as well, and you're helping so many people.
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal. That's all we want to
Yeah.
do.
Okay, before I let you go, it's time for a little beauty and bathroom
Amazing.
rapid fire.
Love it.
I'm going to throw out a few quick questions your way. You need to answer with the first thing that comes to mind and why. So no overthinking. You ready?
Okie dokes.
One beauty product you can't live without.
Serums, and you're going to hate me for this answer, but it genuinely is just any serum. Like, I am obsessed with serums. To your point around how we like just try everything, I am a
Yeah.
sucker for a serum. There isn't a serum I haven't tried.
Do
So
you know
if I don't,
what?
I've
Me too.
yeah.
I love a
Okay.
serum. That's my
Love,
favorite thing. And I
yeah,
will swap and change
or as much
like
as
anything.
yeah,
Yeah, whatever catches my eye, like, yeah, I'll
yeah,
take that one.
100%. I'm a sucker for it.
Morning person or night owl?
I am a morning person, but I do tend to come alive a little bit at night, but I'm 100% a morning person. My boyfriend says I literally just like wake up out of bed at 7, like on the dot, like there's no stirring. I'm up and I'm out. So yeah, very much a morning person.
The boldest PR move you've ever made?
I mean, it has to be leaving my incredible career to launch a brand about poo, quite frankly. I mean, does it get any more ridiculous and PRable than that? Like, yeah, well, I really took a bet on myself with that one, but fingers crossed it pays off.
It will, for sure. Your go-to, I need to feel powerful beauty ritual?
Eyebrow tinting.
Oh, I like an eyebrow tint.
I always have the eyelure brow tint somewhere, usually multiple in case I'm like traveling or whatever. Always. If my eyebrows are not tinted, I do not feel myself.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah.
Mine's usually the power pout, a good bright
Yeah.
lippy. That really,
Or a liner.
switches it
Yeah.
for me.
Lip liner is a good one for me. The
Oh.
Road I'm obsessed with.
How about a wellness habit that actually works for you?
Airplane mode. I don't know.
Really?
Yes. I am when I say obsessed, people are going to listen to this and think that I'm literally permanently on airplane mode, which is not the reality. But I am undiagnosed, probably ADHD slightly, so I get really distracted. So for me, I've really lent into understanding like when I need to even just for like an hour, even if in the morning, I will just airplane mode my phone so that I know I can just get up without being distracted by multiple work things or whatever's happening. I really find airplane mode just like helps bring me back to being in tune when like in the moment. And
That's
then
such a good tip.
yeah,
I might try
I
that.
live by that. Do it, I guarantee, and let me know how you feel. I promise you will feel the difference.
The most surprising reaction someone's had when you told them your brand helps you poo?
Probably just the the frequency at which men go, wow, is that really a problem?
Really?
Yeah. Although since launching the brand, I've definitely realised that there's way more men that need this than I realised. However, a lot of times we'd speak to people who were men would go, how is that a problem? So it
Wow.
just shows the discrepancy for me
Yeah,
between how
yeah.
the perception of what, the problem exists, I guess, for groups of people.
That's really interesting. If Regular had a celebrity ambassador, who would it be and why?
I know Olivia Atwood. I love her. I just think she embodies the confidence of which this. I also know she is constipated, so if she ever hears this, then Olivia, like I'm pretty sure I've slid into her DMs as well. But I just love everything. She's super confident, and and I know she's constipated. She wants to say all orange in an effort to.
Olivia, get in touch.
Yeah, please let me know because we need you to be our ambassador. I just love her.
Love it. You're officially PR like a boss certified.
Yeah, I'm obsessed.
For sure. I mean, this has been amazing.
So fun. Thank you so much for having me. It's been amazing.
No, Holly, thank you so much for joining me today. I feel like we've covered everything from brand building to basically bowel movements and somehow made it fabulous. Where can listeners find you?
So we are .regular on Instagram, Holly Victoria __. But yeah, we are regular. You'll find us. We're everywhere at the moment.
You are everywhere at the moment. Thank you. And to my listeners, if you enjoyed this chat, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and stay tuned for more PR inspo from the people shaping the stories we all talk about. Or in this case, maybe not as much. And don't forget, if you're ready to elevate your PR game, check out my e-course, PR Like a Boss. It's packed with actionable tips to help you get noticed and stand out. The link is in the show notes. Join me next time for more conversations with my female powerhouses. Until then, keep pushing boundaries and PRing like a boss.